Hello, 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 hello. We are here with a Saturday edition of Bold Prediction Sports Media Podcast. He's Mr. KC from the 813. I'm that dude with the beard. It's Saturday. Football's been cracking. We've been having a good day. We got NBA action we can talk about. We got wrestling information coming up. We got everything on the slate here. We got good times. We got a Bronco in the building. We got a Buffalo Bill in the building. We got Chief in the building because you see here I'm in the Arrowhead Lounge for the second time broadcasting. Mr. KC from the 813. How you doing, my man?
On here, we're dropping down to like low 60s right now.
Ooh.
This whole front kind of disturbing me.
Oh, it's getting cold.
Yeah,
It's getting
I
bitter
heard
brisk in Florida, huh?
Florida might even here.
Oh
Yeah,
man, it's a whole different
dangerously.
situation here. Yeah, I'm already know what's going on, but we gonna see. We got some primetime NFL action happening tonight. We got all kind of things going on today. But as tradition, we gonna keep it funky. Let's go ahead and jump into this NBA edition of the Bold Prediction Sports Media Podcast. And as much as it hurts me to say, I just can't believe it. These dang Boston Celtics are the number one team in the NBA. And I knew it would bring nothing but a smile to Mr. Casey's face because all he's been talking about is Boston. You can see the smirk now, people. You see he's happy about it. I just think, Mr. Casey, you tell me you saw this from the jump.
Yeah, I think we're getting a little funky connection going right now, actually. Uh,
Oh no.
yeah, I think you were talking about the Celtics, I would imagine, because it's got to be the team to be talking about right now, right?
Yeah, that's the team that I was talking about. That's the team. That's what's happening.
It's it's almost like a bold prediction. Like your screen can go away and it can mess up, and I can be like, the only thing that makes sense right now is the Celtics are winning, and he's got to be talking about it because really favorite evil villain to root for.
And you're not lying. I mean, it's not even a villain to root for. It's just goodness gracious. That's what's happening. The Celtics are the number one team in the NBA. And it's almost unprecedented that they're in this position. Only as a Laker fan, I'm saying that, of course.
Yeah, but we've had a couple teams that were pretty wild real quick off the jump. Like watching the Nets kind of go on a nice little run. They've made it. They've had a nice 9-1 run in the last 10 games, and that's made it so the Nets are really in hot contention. And all of a sudden, we see the Knicks in the playoffs somewhere.
Yeah, not even to mention the Pelicans on the western side is in the division going on in the Nuggets and the Grizzlies. We're seeing a lot of teams rise that we didn't normally think was going to be a kind of rising kind of team.
Hello. Oh man, I think we're having a
Oh, is the connection too funky?
yeah. I think we're having a funky internet connection night. Unfortunately, yeah. We got
I
Ray
don't know about
watching
Nas.
football and UFC,
Oh yeah,
and
can
then
never miss out on an Ultimate Fight. The team to
a
talk
team
about.
to
The
talk
Knicks are
about.
6 and
Hey,
another
I mean,
team
there's something
in the East that's doing it.
that's out there. Yeah, that's a heavy hitter there. That's a heavy hitter. Yeah, we got football and UFC to watch tonight. On this Saturday, a lot of time on Saturdays, I usually like to catch some basketball. But tonight, I think I'm going to have to watch that Buffalo Miami game.
Oh, without a doubt, because I mean it has immediate implication on how we are as Chiefs fans and what we're doing trying to get the number one seed and just moving forward in the NFL. But the Knicks is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, they're up to I think they're like 15th in overall power rankings in the NBA right now. And so, I mean, it's just a lot of action going on. UFC is always a classic. They only got a couple of more events until, moving into the next year. So we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely glad to hear about it because it's definitely a sport that we're into and it's definitely a sport that I like to frequent, if you will.
Right. Yeah, and it's been kind of wild because we've watched Golden State Warriors kind of fall out of kind of conversation. It's another team that I always kind of like to root for a little bit. I like what they have going on, but it's been a up and down year for them. And when they looked like they were boo boo, they turned it around a little bit, but they've gone right back into that kind of basketball you don't want to be playing.
No, for sure. I mean, it's a certain level of championship play that you expect from a team who's fresh off a championship win. But now that you see the level of mediocrity, well, let me not say mediocrity that you're playing with, but it's just you don't see the sense of urgency in this team.
Right. Yeah, and it's a team that really should have it, I would think, but the record says they're the same as the Lakers, but they don't have the same excuses that the Lakers have. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you took the
yeah,
words right out of my mouth because the Lakers roster wise is considerably terrible when you compare it to the championship roster.
right, absolutely. I'm right there with you. But I mean, to me, it seems like the hot teams are in the East, anyways. A lot of the teams I'm liking, even if you go the Knicks route, it's showing they can play every night. If they want to be competitive. So it's interesting to see what's going down. I
For
like to see
sure, because
some of the
you look at,
Sixers.
like I said, because not to cut you off. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that, Miss Casey. I would never do
You
that
good?
ordinarily.
Oh, you're fine.
Connection. Yeah, but I would say because even considering Milwaukee, like I said, just looking at the whole total picture in the East right now, like I said, because they're still in contention, but it's just like you said, it's starting to shape up like the East is a little bit more hot, like it was back in the '90s when Jordan was around.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of exciting to see. The West has just been so dominant for so long. It's nice to see some fresh blood in the East kind of be like, well, maybe these are the teams we got to look for this year. The favorites might be in the East. That's kind of
Right,
interesting to see.
and definitely the favorite for MVP thus far because there's really only Eastern Conference team players that are mentioned in that conversation. And most front running, I would say, would be Jason Tatum. I mean, he's been the conversation of
Mm.
late, but we'll see how things progress, of course, throughout the season. Like I said, we're almost getting into the time like we've been talking about when basketball is really picking up and becoming more interesting.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see these teams that are going on these runs because that's what's going to set them up for that part of the season that actually matters. Teams, if you look at teams like the Knicks, they can get another nice little 7-3 stretch going. That puts them in real nice contention for the playoffs. They suddenly, when the games that matter, they're a little bit less matter for day in, day out because it's not like do or die as quickly as we've seen in other seasons.
No, for sure, and I'm right there with you. Like I said, remember earlier in the season I was questioning if this is a better product or even at least a good enough product to watch since our time in basketball. I consider our time, uh, late '80s all the way until maybe 2010, as far as talking about basketball. And it seems like the product still has some relevancy, and it seems like it still has a bit of excitement to offer. So it's good to see that the Eastern Conference is growing because it makes watching better because you're not only watching to just see Western Division teams. I said Western Division, Western Conference teams. You're
Right.
watching to see the East too.
So Tatum's winning. Yeah. The
See
teacher
that,
already. It makes sense.
and that's what I'm saying. Teach,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like I said,
90s
I'm not a
basketball.
Boston
Yeah.
fan by far, but Jason Tatum's getting it done, and '90s basketball is just the best. Like I said, you can argue the 2000 to 2010s is pretty good too. I won't deny that. Like I said, we got a lot of Kobe era then, and a lot of Shaq, a lot of great Spurs teams. So I mean, that whole era, that 20 years, is almost undefeated in basketball. It's the best we've ever seen.
Yeah. That Spurs team was a monster. Tim Duncan is always like all time good. As a Sonics fan, like 90s basketball will always be like my glory, like that's what I'm gonna
Yeah,
point
the
to.
Golden Grail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I got you.
absolutely.
Because like I said, a lot of people forget those Spurs teams won 5 chips just like the Lakers did. Like I said, a lot of people skate past it. Like I said, these was
Hmm.
teams that's running the NFL, I was gonna say the NFL, the NBA for 10 years. There's 10 years of championships between these two teams in that time period. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's always fun to kind of compare their eras. Oh, would they be able to play back then like now and stuff like that? But I think most of it kind of translates, and there's not a terrible amount of difference. Maybe the guys nowadays are in such better condition, treating their bodies like athletes that it's different. And the guys back then didn't have to deal with social media and stuff. Imagine Dennis Rodman tweeting and stuff back in the day.
Dude, yeah, I could only. You want to talk about somebody who would have broke the internet on several occasions. I couldn't imagine Twitter with Dennis Rodman. It would have been a whole different level. Facebook would do anything with Dennis Rodman. Social media wise, Instagram, it would be insane. The things this man would post. We already know, especially in the '90s. You know what I'm saying? Remember that double team movie he would did with John Claude? He felt undefeated after that. So I can only imagine.
Yeah. Oh, Dennis Rodman. Yeah, but
Yeah.
did you see that Patty Pimilton fight?
Yeah, I did,
Did you watch
and
old
he.
Patty the Batty?
Oh yeah, he lost that fight. I like I said, we've seen on several occasions. Sometimes the officials just get it wrong, and I mean, Pat, he was beat on every level. I mean, I'm talking punches, strikes, takedowns, like things that would guarantee you wins normally in the UFC cost this man a win, and it's unprecedented. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of wild. It kind of shows you the reach of the UFC. Sometimes it almost feels that guy, that you're going to get that guy treatment. So sometimes that's how those cards go, in my opinion.
Yeah, it reminds me of the if folks remember another night if we talking '90s, a '90s movie called The Great White Hype, it, with Damon Wayans. It's one of those situations. Like he's one of the guys the media likes. It's almost Conor McGregor all over again, except for Conor could actually fight. This guy, like I said, he was gifted a win that he definitely didn't deserve, and I just don't see how they could have scored it the way they scored it. But I mean, I'm not a UFC official, but I've got eyes, and he got tore up.
Yeah. And it doesn't take a expert, I don't believe, to see that fight kind of differently. I've never professionally scored a boxing or UFC match or any, I'm no expert, but I did wrestle in high school. So, and I'm a veteran, so I learned how to do a few kung fu moves and whatnot.
Exactly.
So I can kind of see where that went, and it looked kind of one way to me too.
Without a shadow of a doubt, I'm right there with you on that end.
Yeah, so let's talk a little football. I think we got to get a little excited for what happened, what we just seen with these Kings of the North locking up the division title.
Oh, not only did the Kings of the North lock up the division, they also completed the greatest comeback in NFL history. Folks, bold predictions. You see my little baby, she had to jump in. She always wants to make her presence known. Um, they're the Kings of the North. Like I said, if you ain't have respect for Kirk Cousins, you better put it on his name today. That's all I got to say on that end. I told y'all what time it was.
Yeah, I couldn't believe Matt Ryan has been slam dunked on twice now. If you go back to the Super Bowl, he gave up the most points in Super Bowl history, biggest comeback, and now he did it again to the Vikings in the regular season. 33 points is pretty good, pretty good lead.
Oh, for
Raymond thought it was over at half. I think you're on mute. You forgot to
oh,
hit the.
yes,
Yep.
yes, sir. No, 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 yeah, yeah, no, 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 no. I had to let that clear out. But no, I know a couple people I watched the game with here right now who thought it was over at the half. But I said they just got enough time to lose. The Kings of the North is coming. Still ready. Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah,
tell you.
yeah. That's one of those games that'll get your blood pressure going.
Get the
You know,
pumping and
it's
dumping.
it's hard to do it. Because if you look at this, it was over at half. I thought it was over at half too. I was making up like all kinds of like words. Like I couldn't call them the Kings of the North no more. I had to call them something else. It was just going to be like that team up in the North or something. You
No,
know, it,
I keep telling you, Kirk Cousins needs to change all his social media pictures to a picture of Jon Snow because he is the king in the North. They better put
mm,
respect on his name. I told people here when I was watching. Let me flip the camera. Eh, I told the world. I told everybody bold predictions. I told everybody. I said he's gonna have a second. I said he in the second half he's gonna have a you like that moment just like he did back in Washington. You like that?
mm,
Greatest comeback in NFL history. Do you like that? Signed to Kirk
mm,
Cousins. Another accolade from my boy. Remember we talked the other day about it, Mr. KC,
mhm.
about how he the first guaranteed money, all that. Put some respect on Kirk Cousins. They gonna stop disrespecting my boy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was really, man. I had all kind of disrespectful things written up to say about Kirk Cousins, and it's really not fair. The Colts are a tough team, but like,
They are. They a tough out. That's what I said.
mhm,
A lot of these teams they remind me of the Charter. They a tough out. They'll
mm,
lose, but they a tough out.
yeah, yeah, it's wild. How about Tucker for the Ravens missing a few kicks today?
I guess he ain't as clutch as we thought.
Well, everybody has their day. I think if you're having a bad day, you're not gonna make any of them. Like you're gonna have trouble making them regardless.
I can see that, but when you only paid to do one job, it's kind of hard to defend that. It's different than a quarterback throwing a few picks, but this is the only thing you do.
Right, right. So how you feeling about this Bills Dolphins game right now?
Oh man, you know what I'm ready for. Like I said, I picked Buffalo to win the game. In my heart, I need Miami to win the game because I'm a homer for KC, and we need that spot. 2-1. He's done next to nothing. You took the words right out of my mouth. Like I said earlier, he didn't deserve to win the game he won today because Lamar didn't play. If Lamar played, it would have been a blowout. These Browns wouldn't have had no
Yeah,
chance. No chance.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's got to be so disappointing to know that you gave up all that draft capital. It feels kind of like a very Russell Wilson ish kind of situation, but he's not getting clowned on because he doesn't have any let's cook things. He just likes to relax and, you know, whatever pops up for Deshaun Watson.
No, for sure. And I was sitting here talking to the Arrowhead crowd over here, minus the Bronco. Uh, they was talking about the Vikings deal and that incredible comeback. Like I said, I mean, dude, it's the NFL. And if you a quality
Hmm.
team, you got a potent receiver, running back, you got just enough time to win, almost no matter the situation. And Kirk Cousins once again proved that he got enough time to get it done. And the reason why I bring that back up, just talking in the background, it's just more interesting than this Watson situation. Because I mean, it's Deshaun Watson
Right.
yawn. Like if Lamar, like I said, if Lamar was playing, it wouldn't even have been a contest. It would have been over.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Let's see what we got here. I still thought that the Ravens should have won that game, and it
Ray,
was
we
still a
both
winnable.
go ahead, Mr. Casey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was still a very winnable game for the Ravens, and that should tell you everything you need to know about the Deshaun Watson-led Browns. Even if it's the backup, it's over.
I got a guest right here who want to say a few things real quick about that game. I'm gonna
Yeah,
put
let's
him on
touch
real
on it.
quick. We're gonna touch on him. Give him the headset real quick here, folks. Unprecedented. You go ahead and take that. Give him that.
Hello, how you doing, man?
Good, good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Remember, yeah, man. Like I was saying about the Ravens, though, man. Yeah, man. I mean, they're a good team, but they lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they should have won that game. So, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. If you ain't got Lamar Jackson, it's hard
Yeah,
to lose.
yeah, you're right,
It's
man.
hard
You're
to
right.
win a bunch of games that way. But you run into like the Deshaun Watson Browns, you would think it'd be a blowout the other way. And the
Hmm.
Ravens were still in it that game,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
nice to see.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. All right, man. Nice to meet you, man. I'm gonna get back to this game, man. I'm hoping Miami wins. So let's see. And he's talking about I'm a
Yeah.
Bills fan. I ain't no Bills fan, man. I'm a Chiefs diehard fan, man.
He's Bills #1.
Don't listen to him.
every Bills fan is usually kind of quiet about it, but we'll let them go with the Chiefs fan. Everybody wants to be a Chiefs fan these days, so we'll let them in the kingdom.
No, I understand for sure. No, he Chiefs fan through and through. He's just a Bills fan also. So that's what we say.
Oh
But
well,
no,
you said he was going for the fence, unlike a
yeah,
lot of other people.
yeah. That's I don't know, man. We're gonna see. Things change, It just depends on the swing of the a swing of the bat. But
Or the swing of the Tyreek Hill.
hmm
Did you see that fumble that he picked up and ran?
dude, I
That was
saw it
unbelievable. That was like a very Tyreek Hill play. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Tyreek Hill esque play because it's his play, something he could do. So I
y-
wasn't surprised. I'm glad for it. Like I said, but I'm to the point where I'm tired of talking about Tyreek Hill. I'm tired of hearing about him because he misses so much. He's the deranged X. He can't move on.
I
You
can't move
wanted
on either.
he said I can't move on. I moved on. He wanted to move on. I let him go. Good night, goodbye. You got your bread. You got what you wanted. You still talking about the Chiefs. You still talking about Pat. Still talking about the organization. He misses Kansas City
Yeah.
without a
Oh,
shadow of a doubt.
for sure, for sure. And I hate to be that guy, but I miss him too. He's just such a dynamic player. Like, look what he's doing with Tua. With Tua, he's gonna break the record. Like, this
Maybe.
is possibly, possibly. This
But
Bills
let me
game is
ask you this as a realist and also as a Chiefs fan. Is our offense not more thrivant without him?
the numbers say that with or without Tyreek Hill, it doesn't make it a slight bit of difference. And it's not even without Tyreek Hill. If you really look at it, it's you got
In
Juju
general.
Smith Schuster, who's a second, like a mid-tier second round quarterback or wide receiver. You know, he's your if he's your B. There's a couple other Bs you'd rather have before him, but he'd be a pretty solid number two guy. You know, and that's your number one guy that you get sometimes. And then you get MVS, who even with Aaron Rodgers wasn't Tyreek Hill or nothing. You know, he's okay, but not nothing to blow nobody away. You know, and Hardman's the best wide receiver on this Chiefs team right now.
Man, and that's a tough, or not even a tough stretch to say, but I mean it's just kind of what it is right now. Until I think Kadarius Toney will soon take over that role, but we'll have to see what's going on that end.
Yeah, if he plays, he's a very in the if he plays kind of guy to me. Pacheco has been much better than CEH.
You're
Oh
not
dear
lying,
lord.
Teach. You
Oh,
man, I was talking about it earlier, Teach. I said Pacheco. They was talking about how can we beat certain teams. I said, bro, how can certain teams team up and stop Pacheco, dude? He's on a tear. He's definitely the best running back we've had since Kareem, and I'm willing to go on record and say that 4 different times.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And you've been pretty
Hold
high.
on, it looks like there's a Bronco who wants to say something. Bronco, you want to say something about that? Because we're live,
Yeah,
bro.
we got a
Hold on,
random
we got a
comment.
Bronco. Here you go.
We got an outside opinion on Pacheco. Let's hear this.
Listen. This is how I feel about Pacheco. He's just okay. He's nothing above the top. He's just doing his job. Like he's not no Terrell Davis or that special back that you're looking for in the draft. No generational talent or anything like that. He's just a guy. Like if if he gets hurt, you're just gonna plug in somebody else, and they're gonna get the job done too. He's not no Kareem Hunt. He's nothing special to me.
And actually, I'm not too terribly off. I do believe the hype around Pacheco and Chiefs Kingdom's too high. You know,
Right.
he's a solid running back. And the problem is when you look around and like you compare him to CEH, he stands out because CEH doesn't stand out.
Correct.
So I see your point there. You know, and I would definitely be hesitant calling him like a Terrell Davis type running back, or
Correct.
even. And I do agree that Kareem Hunt would be kind of a stretch because you see McKinnon putting in the same kind of work, and we know he's not Kareem Hunt. You
Correct.
know, so I can kind
If
of see
you
your point there, but
if you elevate that uh running back room with someone else, he's just a guy. It'll just be another guy.
yeah, but he's just another seventh round guy, and that's a great place to pick up your running back, if you ask me. So when you usually look at his draft pick and his position, it's nice to see him, you know, outshine a first round talent running
Correct.
back. So even just a guy, you know, a lot of guys get that title. Like that's not serviceable is a good thing sometimes.
Correct. I wasn't ever sold on CH either. Should have
Yeah.
got Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
He was there.
there's been a couple swings and miss. You know, you can also look at picking Hardman over DK Metcalf. You know, that's to
Correct.
me that's more of a bigger blunder. But either way, it's the Chiefs' kingdom, so they roll out of bed and get 13 wins and host AFC Championship games and whatnot.
That all sound good. We will rise again.
Yeah, well, with the Russell Wilson, it won't be anytime soon. With Russell Wilson, I know that the Chiefs' kingdom's looking at about 20 straight for Pat Mahomes.
I'm trying to tell you
Uh,
20 straight. I don't know when these Broncos think they rising again, but they gonna keep pulling our cart
you,
forward.
you gotta wait for dinner to get done when you're done cooking. You know, like you gotta cook and eat the meal of Russell Wilson before I'm worried about the Broncos again.
I'm trying to tell you, there ain't nobody worried about the Broncos ever. All
Sure.
right.
Right. Yeah, it should be an interesting game tonight, though.
We're gonna see because it's going on right now. We see a lot of passing going on. They talking about Miami couldn't handle this cold. It looked like a pretty dry ground game to me. So we'll see what happens in regards to that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'll be a fun one to watch. We should probably get pretty close to doing a couple of these little segments real quick.
Oh yeah. Let's jump right on in. We have been carrying on like wayward sons. Shout out to Kansas.
Right.
The only time Kansas will get a shout out. Yes, pillow talk. Let's jump right on in because, dude, I've been stewing on it all week. I had boiled it up to two players, and then I had to boil it up to one. And when I say players, I'm just talking about athletes in any sports and anything. And my slept on pillow talk person of the week is the Kenny Omega, the AEW wrestler, who's not only what they call by accolade the 5-star god of pro wrestling. He's the guy that's single-handedly elevated 3 different companies to promiscuity. I'm I'm so sick of people, particularly Dave Meltzer, a guy who's never even wrestled a day in his life, not even in high school or nothing, like you, like me, or anybody who's even took an amateur class at a local community center. A guy who's clearly just a spectator. He hates on them so much, and it's undeserving and it's unjust. Like, can you make he single handed, like I said, elevated companies, private security, make millions of dollars, frequent in all the languages you can even think of on the almost on the planet. And it's just disrespectful that him and the faction that he's created on his own show, like I say, he has his own wrestling program, and you have people out here who's not even giving him the credit that he deserves. So Kenny Omega, if you end up seeing this, because I'm gonna tag you in at 40 different times, just know that I know, and there's real fans out here that know what you're doing out here for the product and bringing wrestling even back to an entertainment forefront. Like I said, wrestling in the 90s, even from 2000 to 2010, was a big thing. And now that they're bringing it back to promiscuity, we're going to see what's going on. But Kenny Omega, you're slept on, you're disrespected, but just know you're not slept on or disrespected here.
Man, that makes me want to powerbomb somebody. I ain't gonna lie. That was a beautifully written speech.
Yes, sir.
For this week's Pillow Talk segment for me, I'm actually going to reach over to the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey. Like, look at CMC just being that guy that they traded for and carrying the team. You put in a third string, seventh round, Mr. Irrelevant quarterback, and you can still put the load on CMC, and he's still going to carry that team. I think what he's been doing for the Niners is kind of slept on. And I hope everyone notices that the Niners are getting their money's worth in that trade, in my opinion.
And like you said, to add on, talk about powerbombing somebody. You want to powerbomb these announcers who saying that, he's made of glass, it wasn't going to last, and all these things, even though he's had injuries in the past, but clearly he's showing that he's ready for the task ahead. And that's possibly, well, not possibly, but that's losing to Brady in the conference game because Brady got one more job left, like I always say, is to lose a Pat this year's Super Bowl. So now that I'm plugged that, it sounds like it's time to move into the dumpster fire, trash talk, people undeserving segment of the weekend. Let me say Saturday. And Mr. KC, I will let you start off this week. Who is it? Let's talk.
It's Matt Ryan. It's got to be Matt Ryan. All of a sudden, like I had a couple other people picked in my mind, when I woke up this morning, I was like, I got a few people I can pick on. They deserve to be trashed on. And then I seen Matt Ryan have 33 points in a game where he's able to say, look at what I did. Look at this. This is Matt Ryan. My name is Matty Ice. I put these games away. You don't need to see this. It don't matter. And last time it was like 28-3 or 28 points or something, and this time it's 33. Yeah, Matty Ice, you're gonna just retire. Don't even take no backup job. Don't do it. It's below you. And this is below you. It's time to hang him up. I'm sorry. It was just rough to watch.
And ladies and gentlemen, this will be the first time in Bold Prediction sports media history that we're on to the same thing as far as the talk. Mine isn't directed directly at Matt Ryan, but it's at Jeff Saturday and his non-coaching experience. These whole people, the media, everybody's caught up into the hype. This man never coached an NFL game until he got lucky and started against the Broncos. Like, what are we talking about? It's easy to win games when you're playing the worst teams in the NFL. And then today showed of the North, you jumped out to the biggest lead in NFL history as far as a game, and you fucking excuse me, I'm sorry, it's a family show, and you freaking gave it up. You gave it up. Jeff Saturday, that whole administration, shame on you for not promoting Reggie Wayne as somebody who's actually been on the sideline, who's actually been coaching all this time. Shame on you for not elevating a man. Even we ain't even gonna talk about the color thing, but a man with experience. Shame on y'all. And now you're reaping the benefits. You're taking L's.
Yeah, and that was an L to take. And that teacher talking sports. Check out his YouTube channel, by the way. I feel bad for Matty Ice because he's a borderline Hall of Famer. And he really kind of was until you kind of see these kind of episodes of Matty Ice's performance. This is very like I'd have to put in some other quarterbacks, I feel like, before Matty Ice now. Kind of cements his resume. You know, you're going to see, to me, you put Phillip Rivers in before you put in Matty Ice at this point. Like,
without a doubt, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that, but yes, I meant to say it, but not to cut you off. Without a doubt. Dude.
No, you're fine.
Phillip Rivers is by far the better quarterback. And he's so terrible that it's almost a stretch to even say that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and this you can't have the biggest L in regular season and the biggest L in Super Bowl history on your. That's what's on your resume.
On your resume, you gave that. That's what I'm saying. You lost the biggest lead in Super Bowl history, and then you lost the biggest lead in regular season history. Matt Ryan, you was my guy, but you've turned to ice. It's done. You don't have it.
And that's really his career highlights.
They couldn't score in the second half.
And you couldn't do nothing but score in the first half. It don't make
nothing but
sense.
Score. Pick sixes everywhere. Yeah. Like exhausted all their resources the first half and lost the game.
You think you can just? I wonder what the percentage is if you just kneel the ball every time. If you're just burning the clock. I gotta imagine because I remember the 28-point game. It was pretty close. So he might have actually been able to just kneel. Like if they just kneeled the ball every play in the second half, it'd be boring, but it might have burned off enough time.
But it might have got them a win. Exactly. Yeah. It might have got them a dub. But as tradition, inexperienced coach, choke-esque quarterback, it's only built for losing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough to see.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what else to say about these bums. Like I said, it's the first time in history that we've ever been on the same page as far as not disrespecting the team, but just telling how it is. Like, it's the truth. These dudes, they're trash. I don't know how we lost to them. It's maybe because they had a real coach then. Maybe. I don't know. But it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's real tough to see. Makes for a rough weekend, but I'm really excited for tonight's game. It should get me pumped and ready to go for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, because if Buffalo lose tomorrow, I'm gonna say tonight, we'll be number one because I'm sure we'll take care of business against the Texans. We'll see what happens in that situation, and we'll see how it goes. Because a lot of people want the Chargers to make it to the playoffs as a wild card. A lot of teams to sneak in, Jacksonville maybe, who knows. But my only thing is I just need to see out the NFC East who's not going to make it in order to make those kind of decisions, because the AFC East is by far the best division in football. Well, not division in football, but division in the AFC, I would say.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Maybe the North, the AFC North is kind of it's kind of tight. You know,
it's coming back.
Yeah, a little bit. If Lamar's being around, it'd be a little nicer. You know.
Well, for sure, because he makes a totally different field. But in my opinion, the fifth seed is locked up to whoever don't win the AFC North at this point. So it'll either be the Bengals or the Ravens, for sure.
because the kicking game failed. Yeah, but
You're not lying, Teach.
but there's a lot of from 33 to kicking field goals is a pretty large gap. You know, you got 36-point gap there, in my opinion. You know, and it makes it kind of rough to see. Yeah, when you see a 36-point gap, it's there's only one way to go, and I think that's shame on them. You can only shake your finger and say, "I can't believe you did that."
Took the words right out of my mouth. I'm sorry for my camera keep cutting out here, but he's not lying. Like these teams, well, that team in particular, it's just the playoff implications is here. We're so deep into the season.
Hmm.
Some of these teams can't afford to lose, and then you just see how things are playing out. See how things are playing out in the AFC, and it's so tight because they got nobody clinched in the AFC right now. Nobody. Even though if
Yeah,
you boil it down mathematics, even if the Chiefs lost to the Raiders and the Broncos, they would still be in the playoffs and they would still win the division.
right.
You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So the fact that certain teams haven't clinched already is just letting you know that the NFL's Ash tradition TNT, they love drama. So we'll see how this whole thing shakes out. But I got a strong feeling that Casey will end up number one. I know that what we'll be talking about, but it's just a culmination of hearing everything and my thoughts coming together as far as speaking on that. Mr. KC.
yeah. Well, the Chiefs have a much easier schedule. You know, if you look at the remaining schedule, it's some very cupcakey games left, and it's kind of
We,
nice.
we we will say so, but you know how it is, how they like to try to trap us. These teams they
Mhm.
got nothing
Oh,
left to lose, and they come like how the coach tried to play today. Leave it all out there. It just, I mean, inevitably it shouldn't be enough, but Pat is 0-2 against the coast. Luckily, we didn't have to see them late in the season. We already got
right.
that one out the way.
Yeah, because everyone likes to point against them against the Bengals, but like the Colts and the Titans are kind of funky in that way with the Chiefs too. You know,
Exactly.
it's just one of them kind of. I don't want to see you. Don't come knocking on my doors.
Right. But I feel like if we see them again, it'll be the toast to the finish because this is the revenge tour for Kansas City.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the you don't think that we're still them guys tour. Like, okay, we'll show you. So we're you know what it is, Mr. Casey. You know what time it is.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. Well, kind of got that game coming up on the schedule before too long. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I already know. I'm looking forward to it because I know it's coming. I'm actually looking forward to the Seahawks game. I know we've talked about it previously. I'm looking forward to that. I want to see what Gino could try to do. I mean, I think that's probably the toughest game we have left in on the season, honestly. But
Well,
I'm pretty sure we're gonna walk them to the river too. But we'll get there when we get there as far as the picks.
yeah, absolutely. I'm there with you.
Yes, sir. Well, folks, I think we covered just about everything. It's always a tradition of blessings to be here before you. It's always humbling. It's always just, like I said, a blessing to be here. Humility, like I said, different situation, different settings. You guys still come here, you still watch, you still comment, you still involved. And we appreciate y'all. Like I said, we only do it because we know you're coming here. If you wasn't coming, we wouldn't show up either. And so we appreciate y'all and we're grateful. Hopefully we see what's going forward though. With more action in the NFL and the UFC coming up next year, we're gonna cover that more definitely. I think we can probably extend a little bit more time on that because like I said, my boy Nate Diaz, there's a couple people out here who's still getting it done. We're still handling business. So we're gonna see on that end. Just got a little
Yeah,
bit excited about it. You know how it is on a Saturday night, UFC Saturday. Mr. KC, You got anything for the people? We in prime time football, prime time areas, prime time weather, except for on your end because it's baby cold. What we got going on?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think we might have to do a UFC live stream sometime and maybe an AEW match or
Yes,
something,
sir.
or maybe a pay per
Yes,
view
sir.
or something like that.
Because they got a big one coming.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
what would they say? For all you old head wrestling fans like us, they got a WrestleMania coming up.
You're
And
right.
trust me, I'll provide more detail because you know what WrestleMania is. So we'll do what we gotta do. My sweet darling in the background again. Give me one moment, going back. You hear it. You know what it is. Like I said, we keep it organic. That's why I said we family here. That's why we love y'all coming through. Football
Absolutely.
arguments happening in the background if y'all can hear it. But he's Mr. KC from Haywood 3. I'm that dude with the beard. It's been a Saturday. Saturday's still going. We love y'all. We'll see y'all later.
Yeah, y'all have a great night.
Eagles played anybody? Nope.